All praises, all praises, all praises to the heavenly, holy, almighty creator of infinity, eternity, the universe, and all there is. This is Revelations.Unveiled. Detroit. Hello, family. Once again, we convene and converge at the threshold of transition to receive the holy transmission of the heat and fire of the word of the holy creator of all imagination. All praises. And to the 12 tribes scattered abroad, wherever you may sojourn on planet Earth, my continuous petitions and prayer for your care and safety, your serenity and solace. And to my brothers and sisters of the world, welcome all. We are now at the Revelations.Unveiled. Detroit Den, where we are here to sit at the knee of wisdom to expand our secular historical knowledge as well as swell our spiritual increase. And family, this is a continuing extension of us, the Hebrew Israelites, who have come to the knowledge of our true identity and heritage here in the United States of America and America, the Americas, which we refer to as Babylon, or this continent of confusion. And so we will be exploring the Hebrew Israelite enslavement in America. And this is the truth that no black person, quote unquote black, so-called black, this is the truth that no black person was ever meant to find out, or most importantly, was ever meant to believe. And so, family, as we get ready to immerse ourselves in the wonderful review of excellence into eternity, we pay due homage and respect to the Revelations.Unveiled. Detroit channel standards in the books of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 6, and Hebrews, chapter 13, verse 8. And as we continue to learn and discern as we earn, we use the tool of precept breakdown in the holy book of prophet Isaiah of the 28th chapter, verses 9 through 11. And so, family, this is for our brothers and sisters of the world who refer to themselves as the various bywords of humanity, the melanated and Moors, the original man and children of God, the sovereigns and sojourners, the copper-colored, the colored, and people of color, the aboriginals and indigenous, the natives, Negroes and niggas, the African American and blacks, the descendants of slaves, and those who were conquered and colonized, and also the children of the captivity. Oh yes, we are blessed, as now we are here in safety, comfort, love, and joy for the expansion and evaluation as we expound on the historical plane within the secular realm and the spiritual review. And we began Hebrew Israelite enslavement in America, the truth no black person was ever meant to find out or believe. Slavery in America wasn't only about free labor, racism, or hate. Europeans identified and targeted the kingdom of Judah for slavery so that they could build treasured cities, just like they did for Pharaoh in the Old Testament, the book of Exodus, chapter 1, verse 11. All we have to do is look around and see the wealth and architecture built for Europeans by enslaved black people. During 250 plus years of institutionalized American bondage, of which many inventions, creations, techniques, etc., were stolen and claimed by slave owners from the captive peoples. Even post-enslavement, so-called blacks continue to provide global creations of genius. For example, brothers Frederick McKinley Jones, transport refrigeration. He put together the devices by which you are able to transport meat in refrigerated vessels. Brother Daniel Hale Williams, the first open heart surgeon. Brother Garrett Morgan, the inventor of the stop or traffic lights. Brother Lewis Latimer, the inventor of the light bulb filament. Synthesis of medicinal drugs from plants by Brother Percival Levon Julian, among many hundreds of others of named certified genius creations by the people in enslavement or the descendants of those enslaved. Our people, the so-called blacks, have built America into one of the greatest nations on the planet. The inventions above have both revolutionized and created billion-dollar industries. And that's only 5 inventions named. Each of the inventors above were responsible for multiple inventions. There is absolutely no doubt our people built treasure cities for European Americans and find it to be an obstinate offense to even discuss the thought of reparations for the descendants of those who were captive and enslaved. Woe unto the wicked, it shall be ill with him, for the reward of his hands shall be given him. As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. O my people, they which lead you cause you to err and destroy the ways of your paths. That was the book of Isaiah, chapter 3, verses 11 through 12, family. As far as Europeans intentionally taking Hebrew slaves, these are not just wild claims, but can be proven using European maps, European slave ledgers, and European explorer journals. What happened here in America was more than just evil. It was a declaration of war against the Holy Creator and his chosen people. The book of Joel, chapter 3, explains exactly why the events in the book of Revelations will take place. It's all over and about the enslavement of the nation of Israel. Proclaim you this among the Gentiles, or the heathens, or the other nations. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all of the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Assemble yourselves and come, all you heathen, and gather yourselves together round about there, because your mighty ones to come down. Cause your mighty ones to come down. So there's an invitation to war by the Holy Creator to all the nations of the world. That's the book of Joel, chapter 3. The Holy History gives us the precise timeline when the slavery had to take place. It tells us all about the people that plotted against to enslave Israel. It tells us where the Hebrews would be taken and how they would be taken there. There is so much overwhelming evidence that has been uncovered that anyone denying the facts is only doing so out of a sense of hatred, ignorance, or a combination of both. Even though there are 12 individual tribes that make up the nation of true Israel, many deny that so-called black people are Israel. Not because they've researched it, but just because of the hatred and ignorance. It is often claimed that it doesn't matter what color Christ is, but it does when you bring up him being black or not Middle Eastern. They do not say this when it is a false European depiction of the Messiah. Many churches and philosophies teach that Ham, the youngest son of Noah, was the father of black people, but deny that the Egyptians were black people, and the Egyptians were a son of Ham. Even though history agrees with the Bible in this regard, it is known that if it is admitted that Egyptians were black, there's no way to avoid admitting that the Israelites were black, which means also the holy anointed Messiah Christ was black. Many people vote for racists, and pedophiles, and other heinous criminals while still calling these people and themselves Christians. All you have to do is look at the fruit of their candidates to know who they serve. Many in America support racist laws and policies that screw over or disenfranchise or continually destroy the fabric of the Israelites while still calling themselves Christians. They think all black people are the same and that we are not Hebrews. So they believe they can commit any evil on the planet and not be held accountable for payment or recompense by the most holy Creator. And I know, family, after a half of a millennium, 500 years, it has grown hard to continue to love this evil and these lies and the deception and those that make a conscious effort to embrace all three, which many Europeans and many of our own people who deal with self-hatred tend to do. The Holy History tells us that we will know who is who by their fruit, and the fruit from the majority population and those who sympathize with them is constantly, consistently evil. another scripture. Even so, every good tree brings forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree brings forth evil fruit. A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. Every tree that brings not forth good fruit is cut down and cast into the fire. Wherefore, by their fruits you shall know them. Not everyone that says to me, which is the anointed Messiah speaking, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that does the will of my Father which is in heaven. The book of Matthew, chapter 7, verses 17 through 21. Many conservative European Americans and their sympathizers of philosophy attempt first to change the subject of American enslavement by telling black people random facts that they assume we don't know, as if we need some European person telling or thinking that they possess some profound knowledge that we haven't heard from the common curriculum up until this point, such as, did you know that Arabs enslaved black people first? Did you know that black people sold other black people into slavery? And slavery is over in ancient history. But you must remember the Jewish Holocaust, the 4th of July and September 11th, the terrorist attack on the nation of America. None of these things which are relevant to the conversation about American slavery, and it ever is. Arabs did not enslave black people in America, and since the conversation is about slavery in America, that is only a deflection to bring up Arabs and take the focus off of European atrocity. Also, many people assume all black people are just black people. They will separate other Europeans into different nations, the Irish, the British, German, Russian, etc. But when they talk about black people, we're just black people. But we know the difference between an Egyptian, Ethiopian, American Negro, and a Jamaican. And here are some quick facts for the Europeans and their philosophical sympathizers. Specific native African Hamitic tribes sold their Hebrew Israelite enemies to European traders. Native African slavery was more likened to indentured servitude and nothing at all like American chattel slavery. Enlightened black people already are well aware are both facts listed above. But neither of these things matter because what Arabs and native Africans did to Hebrews does not justify Europeans doing it also. It just makes Europeans complicit along with the Arabs that did it, along with the native Africans in selling Hebrews. It makes Europeans criminals into the whole transaction. Europeans, native Africans, and the Islamic Arabs to capture, barter, sell, and disperse the Israelites into the various global portions of the earth. And so, family, that was just a portion of some of the scriptural application to the historical events of the enslavement of the Hebrew Israelite tribes within the American shores. And we shall continue with this review and examination and increase across the lines in our remembrance and tracing and tracking back to the true heritage and identities of our peoples, as well as our spiritual increase when we return back to the tenets of the Holy Covenant. And until we are together again, I love you. I love you. I love you. This is a review of the Hebrew Israelite enslavement in America. And this is Revelations.Unveiled. Detroit. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verses 6 through 9. For we are a holy people unto the Lord our God. The Lord our God has chosen us to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. The Lord did not set his love upon us, nor choose us because we were more in number than any people, for we were the fewest of all people. But because the Lord loved us, and because he would keep the oath which he had sworn to our fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, has the Lord brought us out with a mighty hand and redeemed us out of the house of bondmen from the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. Verse 9. Know therefore that the Lord our God, he is God, the faithful God, which keeps covenant and mercy with them that love him and keep his commandments to 1,000 generations.